This is Dan White bringing you a preview of the Miami and Middle Tennessee game this Saturday at 3:30 on the ACC network at Hard Rock Stadium. This is an absolutely beautiful first day of fall morning here in Appling, Georgia. And I hope that you're going to enjoy this day. It's 67 degrees. This is real football weather here in Georgia. Now today I'm going to tell you a surprising story about East Tennessee coach Rick Stockstill, along with a couple of video clips. It's something you might not know. Stay tuned for that. Did you know that Coach Rick Stockstill was the quarterback for FSU under Bobby Bowden from 1977 to 1981? He was a 3-year letterman and an honorable mention All-American in 1981. And of course, he played against our Miami Hurricanes. And here's a couple of clips from 1981 of Rick Stockstill for Florida State and our Miami Hurricanes.
Here is Tom McCormick. As on second down, the pass is complete to number 84, Sam Childers, the tight end, who is very near the first down marker. Greg Zappala again made the tackle on the play. From the 12-yard line, second down, 1 yard to go. Stockstill fires.
In the open, what you do is you make sure you catch the ball. And you see Rick right here takes a move, darts the outside, looks like he's going to run and fires the football. He made sure he caught the ball. Nice play.
The 64-year-old Stockstill was hired as head coach for Middle Tennessee State University on December the 21st, 2005. He has a record of 103 wins and 99 losses. And Middle Tennessee plays in Conference USA, a group of 5 conference. From 1989 to 2002, he was on the Clemson staff. In 2003, he was on the East Carolina staff. From 2004 to 2005, he was on the South Carolina staff. In 2006 and again in 2009, he was named the Sun Belt Conference Coach of the Year. He's been in 8 bowl games and won 2. His quarterbacks are Chase Cunningham and Nick Battiatta. Nick Battiatta, as a freshman, set a record in completions, attempts, and passing yards against Old Dominion. He played in the College Bahama Bowl and was named the offensive player of that game. He's a 3-star recruit and was voted to the Conference USA All-Freshman team. Starting quarterback Chase Cunningham is 5'11" and 188 pounds and a redshirt senior. He has been named to the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm watch list. Now, Middle Tennessee runs a fast offense. They run an offense that was created by the Kentucky coach Hal Mumford, and they run it well. They're quick as a minute. Chase Cunningham earned all-state honors when he was quarterback for the Knoxville's Catholic High School, and he led them to a state championship. He was named the MVP in the 2015 State High School Championship game. He's been named to the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm watch list. Their running back, Frank Pleasant, played for Escambia High School in Pensacola, Florida. He was a 3-star recruit, and he earned all-state honors and was 3-time winner of the Northwest Florida Offensive Player of the year. Defensive end Jordan Jurgensen was named to the following preseason watch lists: the Lombardi, Bednarik, and the Werfel. He was ranked 22nd nationally in tackles for loss per game and was 30th in sacks per game. He was voted second team All-Conference USA. He's been named to the Ted Hendricks Award watch list and later made the final watch list. He played his senior year of high school at Powerhouse, Cartersville, Georgia. He's rated a 3-star recruit by ESPN and was ranked the 142nd best player in Georgia. He's ranked the 4th best tight end in the state of Georgia his senior year. He earned first team all-conference honors as a junior while also being picked as the Atlanta Journal and Constitution Player of the Week. ETSU has good talent in offense and defense. Wide receiver Yusuf Ali, at 5'9" and 183 pounds, is the slot receiver that has played plenty of football at the college level. He's quick as a minute, and he is in his 5th year at Middle Tennessee State, and he has totaled 1,247 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns in his career. He is a threat. He is averaging 7.5 yards after the catch per reception for his career. It's roughly 70% of his targets come either behind the line of scrimmage or less than 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. They want to get the ball to him and then let him take off and use his speed. MTSU will give him 1 deep shot per game to keep the defense honest. Defending Ali is critical. Miami's going to have to tackle in space, no missed tackles, and be sure in their tackling technique. Now, Middle Tennessee will not beat Miami, but they'll be better than a lot of people think, I believe. Their predicted record for this year by different college football pundits is 3 wins and 9 losses. But I don't think it'll be a blowout by Miami either. Miami wins by a couple of scores. At least that's what the pundits say. Josh Pate, a pundit on YouTube, predicts that Miami will go 10 wins and 2 losses. East Tennessee State lost to James Madison in a blowout 44-7. They beat Colorado State up there in Boulder 34-19. And I'm going to show you some highlights from that game.
Allen on first down, little pump fake, throws, tipped, intercepted. Near sideline, the Blue Raiders will take it in for the touchdown. It's Trey Fluellen. And just like that, on the 33-yard INT, pick 6. Redshirt freshman did not attempt a field goal last week at James Madison. Kick is up, and it is good for Rankin. Got beat 44-7 last week at James Madison, who's making the transition to FBS, and to come back here this week as Peason straight up the middle. He's in, finds pay dirt for 6, and it's a 16-0 lead for the Blue Raiders.
With the first quarter and 3 minutes of this football game, absolutely dominated.
Called 3rd and 5. Rams 0 for 4 on 3rd down today. Again, they'll keep it on the ground, and now the ball has come out. Middle Tennessee saying they have it. And Rankin. 2nd down for Colorado State. Watch out, Millen from behind. Lost the football. It's on the turf. And Middle Tennessee looks like they have come up with their 3rd turnover of the afternoon. And And they'll work with tempo. Cunningham back up to the line of scrimmage. And hands to Peasant again. He's in for the touchdown. I didn't need to get handsy either. Deep ball down the middle of the field. It's hauled in for the touchdown. And his second touchdown of the afternoon.
Clay Millen with plenty of time to throw. You can see the safety is completely out of the picture. Torrey Horton just beat the corner number 23, one on, but they're getting movement. It's 3 or 4 yards before Ram defenders getting in the back's way.
He's in again trying to get the edge. No edge to be got. He lost the football. It's on the turf. Colorado State says they have it, and they do. Second down, 11. Middle Tennessee reeling just a little bit. Cunningham looking down the field, and Newsium off his shoulder pad, and it's intercepted.
They beat Tennessee State 49-6. On offense, Middle Tennessee is averaging 30 points a game with 311 yards per game while running an offense that plays a lot of 4 wide out, and they run out of the shotgun. Defensively, Middle Tennessee has a talented front seven that gets after opponents with an attacking style. The Blue Raiders rank inside the top 10 in tackles for loss per game, 9, and sacks per game, 4. Well, here come my Shelties. What do you call that, a photo bomb? They're all fired up this morning. Stockstill is familiar with Miami coach Mario Cristobal in 2 ways. Cristobal's 6 seasons at the helm of Florida International University when both the Panthers and Blue Raiders were in the Sun Belt Conference, as well as Cristobal's time at the University of Alabama, where he was the offensive line coach for the Tide, and would often run into Stockstill when he visited his daughter, Emily, who worked in the football office. Last season, Virginia Tech beat Middle Tennessee 35-14 in Blacksburg. In 2019, Duke beat Middle Tennessee by a score of 41-18 in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Back in 2017, the Blue Raiders did beat Syracuse 30-23 at the Carrier Dome. That Middle Tennessee State University team went 7-6. Now, I missed my prediction in the Texas A&M game. I predicted a Miami win of 38-10, predicated on Appalachian State's upset win over Texas A&M, 17-14. My prediction this Saturday is Miami 48 and Middle Tennessee 14. The game is at Hard Rock on the ACC network. Kickoff is at 3:30. Go Canes! And thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed day and enjoy this gorgeous fall weather.
All right, Manny, what could be the problems with Middle Tennessee State? Because I would figure that they should be able to handle them, but you might know something that we don't know about Middle Tennessee State.
Well, they run the air raid. They're a 4 wide set. Don't really run the ball very often. And they're an older team. They're one of these older group of 5 schools that have guys who've been playing football forever. So they're not going to come in here scared. They've played other Power 5 teams, and their coach Rick Stockstill, I think, has been there 16 years. So he's got a system in place. He's had success. Middle Tennessee's been to a bunch of bowl games and won conferences and all that kind of stuff. So I think you're not going to get just some run-of-the-mill group of 5 that doesn't have their crap together. They have their stuff together. They have their system. So I think what you're going to see is Miami secondary get tested a little bit. With the air raid. Do those guys come out and play the way that they did last week against Texas A&M, where you were seeing, man, that was a pretty good showing by the secondary? Because we go back to the first 2 games, right, and we can pick apart some moments where we said, man, that was some bad coverage down the field. They gave up some big plays. Middle Tennessee is going to get rid of the ball quickly. They've given up 7 sacks this year, but the reality is that their whole attack in the air raid is quick release, get the ball out to the receivers in space. So this is the week where, if you're Miami's defense, assignment football, the way that they've pretty much played so far, they've had 3 games this year where they've had 10 missed tackles or less. 8 against Texas A&M, 5 against Southern Miss, 10 against Bethune-Cookman in the opener. Last year, the entire season, they only had 3 games where they had 10 missed tackles or less. Miami did. So they're certainly playing a lot better under Kevin Steele and in his system. They're not giving up as much chunk plays. They're not missing guys as often. So just do your assignment on defense, and I think they win this game comfortably, and you get a chance to have Tyler Van Dyke work on the chemistry with the receivers.
This week, Middle Tennessee State comes to Hard Rock Stadium at 3:30. So hope to see a big crowd for Miami and the Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee State, coached by Rick Stockstill. Rick Stockstill was the quarterback in 1980 for Florida State. They came in here undefeated, one of the big games in the history of the University of Miami. Don Bailey played in that game, Coach. So did Jim Bird, who deflected the ball at the line of scrimmage. They went for 2. 10-9 game.
Yeah, there you go.
Only regular season loss of the year for Florida State, and kind of one of the games that really catapulted the University of Miami into the mainstream.
Yeah, it was a special day. I remember Jim. We were in I think it was the West End Zone where he batted it down. So it was a special day.
All right, so he comes in, air raid offense, and usually with the air raid, people think about throwing the ball, right? But you got to tackle the air raid. The damage there is yards after catch.
And I've known Coach Stockstill for a long, long time. You know, we had some tremendous battles when I used to be at FIU. Okay, so and he's recruited some really good football players. And when you play football in that league, you're exposed to some of the more exotic schemes you can imagine, because again, you have really good coaches that are continuing to improve and finding ways to manufacture points and stops. So you see a lot of everything, and they've complemented themselves with some unbelievable talent, you know, at certain spots. You know, they have a defensive line, and particularly some edge players that have really created a lot of issues for their opponents. And the amount of negative plays they've created and the amount of sacks that they've produced is one of the best in the country. So certainly we're looking forward to a great opportunity against them.
Coach, they certainly have capitalized over the takeaway over the years too. I mean, since he's been the head coach there, they've been great at that.
They have. It's a point of emphasis for him. You know, he was a great football player back in the day, and he's carried that over to his coaching regimen. And they're a really good football team.
32 takeaways last year. They led the nation. So protecting the ball, very important. But then their quarterback is a guy that can run a little bit, dual threat quarterback. Had a big game a year ago against Charlotte. But is he a guy that you have to, I guess, keep in the pocket, right? He gets outside. That seems to be where he makes his big plays.
He'll make you pay. Keeping quarterbacks in the cage is going to be really important. Pressing the pocket is going to be important. Making sure we play tight coverage, right, and lock up their really good wide receivers, because those guys are explosive and they're really good at finding soft spots in coverage. So all in all, it's just a very well-coached football team.
Defensively for them, their defensive line's got over 230 games of experience and a bunch of starts, almost 90 starts, and that is always beneficial for them to have that much experience on a defensive line. We've got to match up well with it.
No doubt. Experience in football goes a long, long way. You know, and you see it all over the country. You see it in certain pockets in our football team as well. Guys that have seen it and done it, you know, typically have a leg up on others that haven't. So a lot of respect for them and their program.
Yeah, and the last note of them would be special teams. They try to make that a big trademark. 49 block kicks under Coach Stockstill. So that's a real point of emphasis for them.
Without a doubt, and we showed on tape that, you know, we showed a weakness, right? We had one of our field goals blocked, so we have to shore some things up on our own. On the punt team as well, there were some things that just aren't up to the level and the standard that we need here at the University of Miami. So we're back at it, making sure we get it right. I mean, we want to make sure we always represent our community, our university, our fan base to the best of our ability. And when they're there and they're doing what they do, they make a tremendous difference, huge impact. So for us, looking forward to seeing them. You know, we're starting to be more consistent as tacklers. I think the discipline up front has really made it better for the linebackers as well. You know, when you've got guys that are doing their job and knocking the line of scrimmage back, well, it's a lot easier to see their fit, right? And to read it out as well when the quarterback pulls the ball. So it works as one. And all those guys being on the same page and spending more time together and repping it, I think it's showing up, and it's showing up in a positive way. The things that the miscues, right, are things that we should be better at. So we got to coach it better, but also things that are correctable. Okay, and that right there should give you motivation and hope, right, to be able to go out and work at it to make sure that those things don't hurt us. Avoid the avoidables, right? Those things that get in the way and can make things messy for you. Get those things out of the way. Don't allow those things to, don't allow yourself to hurt yourself by doing things that you're not supposed to do. And I think there is something in that that speaks very loudly as it let's get to work and keep making progress. Playing hard does not fix issues. Fixing issues fixes issues. Okay? And that's our entire point of emphasis, and that's what we're attacking. Let's call it what it is. We want to build a championship program with a championship culture.
First of all, show Joe Zagacki and Don Bailey Jr., Miami and Middle Tennessee, 3:30. This is one of those games where you can't have Texas A&M beat you twice.
Also for Miami, you've got to realize that all the hard work that you've done to this point, you've got to continue to work hard and learn from last week and make improvements this week.
It becomes a really interesting game because a place like Middle Tennessee, they've got to find creative ways to win and compete, and this team is really creative.
Well, their head coach is a former quarterback, and he knows how to move the ball. He knows how to make things happen on offense, and they've got an experienced defense. Joe, this kind of reminds me of Southern Miss. They've got a lot of 5th and 6th year players and guys that have transferred in from other places. So there is a talent level there that can create problems if you give them the opportunity.
Don't be casual with the ball. They scored 6 defensive touchdowns last year.
One way to prevent that is just keep running it the way Miami is running it. I think what was accomplished last week was phenomenal. 175 yards on the ground. I'd like to see that number again this week.
Yep, over 200 yards a game so far.
This is Dan White. Thanks so much for watching, and go Canes!